After 7 weeks of putting antennas inside of the ground to see about this electroculture, if it really does shock the plants and make everything bigger and beautiful, let's go ahead and take a look. This is now the 7th week of electroculture gardening. So first and foremost, for anybody that's been watching my videos, all this was radishes. I pulled them all up. Last night, I want to say. I pulled them all up last night. They were already mature at this point, so that is all gone. You can see where the stake lied. So that is no longer in play. What I'm gonna be doing in the near future is bringing in some of these bigger tomatoes that are just completely falling out of the bed and putting them over here instead. If not, I might just leave them where they lay, though that's not a very smart idea since it's coming all the way out here and people could step on this really, really easily. So that's what that's looking like. As far as the tomatoes is going, that's one look. A lot of it is starting to produce its fruit now. So the ones in the middle is now starting to reach out. All of it seems to be flowering, which is really, really good. Moving on over into the strawberries. We are still getting some more strawberries, even though it is now July. So this is looking very nice. I'm enjoying what I've been getting so far out of all of this. Again, it is starting to spread more into this corner, just as I was hoping it would do. I'm also noting there's spacing right here, which didn't used to be there. I can see that part of a runner was cut off, so something might have got inside of the bed there. But regardless, nevertheless, we still got this up and going. Oh, one of the stakes is missing. Somebody was in the bed. Yeah, somebody was in the bed. They pulled up a whole stake. That's not cool. Had it there for a reason. It wouldn't happen in that bed. I had 4 here. But yep, strawberries are looking fine. Moving on over to the onions. We can see that the bean is now wrestling with the onions over there, so you can't really see how that was performing. And as far as the ones that was over here, other things that's trying to grow up in the spot close to it. So where it did look super abundant this past few weeks, it's now starting to look like it's thinning out a bit. Most of it's been falling over or being tied down by either the watermelon or a bean plant. And I noticed my neighbor kind of ran over this area a few times, so a few of the seed heads are now lost and gone, which is sad. But comparing that, which is messy as it is, just from lamb's quarter and watermelon and some other stuff, and even attempting trying to compare it to the onions over here, that is standing at least 2 feet, maybe even 3 feet tall. And lastly, we have the good old corn. Now, a lot of this is starting to mature. It's getting into a later stage of maturity. And if we look at this from a different perspective, I'm literally about as tall as the corn that's maturing. Now, that could be cool or a bad thing. But here's my take. I think I did a terrible job with the corn this year. Here's why. This is my mother's corn. Let's do comparisons. Oh, you can't tell the top of it? Probably around there. You can probably see the top of some of the corn now. Yeah. Backing up even, it is sitting really, really tall. And I noticed some other people had some tall corn as well, so my thing is, I'm guessing that I just didn't get enough water to it in its early stages for it to perform as best as it possibly could. So now it's kind of suffering just a bit, kind of stunted in its growth. But nevertheless, we're still going to be getting some corn out of it, hopefully. Even the Indian corn, let's get back over here actually, is looking really good. As we can see for comparison, my tallest corn where the Electroculture Garden stake thing is right there, tallest corn. And that's already thrown out its tassels and everything. But this is the Indian corn and the broom corn, and it's starting to shoot up really, really well. So again, variety may have a very big play into this, but it also could be just the amount of water it was getting in its early stages. I know I said it before, I'm gonna state it again. Earlier this season that I was hand watering this entire patch. And as you can imagine, with a 2.5 watering can, I can only get an area from roughly around here to here, maybe a little bit in where this lamb quarter is, and just run out, come back, do it again, move over here, do that again and again and again and again. And it takes about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to fill up the watering can, walk it over here, use it, go back, refill it, do the same thing over and over and over again. And after I complete this section, I'd go back and do it again. And then I'd hit the corn, and then I'd hit the tomato bed, and then I hit the radishes, and then I hit the corn, and then I hit the other corn, and then I hit the sunflowers. All of that took a lot of time. And considering that I have to not only take care of this garden, manage this garden, but my father's and my mother's as well, coming out to this garden every single day just wasn't feasible as far as watering is concerned. That was until I recently bought a hose for myself, so now I can just run it over here, and it takes me about a good hour or so to hit up all this area as equally as I did when I had just had the watering can. Now, to get some good watering out of it and just some good deep watering, it's probably going to take me an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of just staying consistently over here for one session. And that's just one garden, and that garden takes about 3. So you can see here, 5 hours of my day is spent towards watering alone, not weeding. I'm not checking in on it. I'm not trying to pull out any bugs and stuff. It's just watering alone. So all in all, with that being said, this was the 7th week of Electroculture Gardening. Everything is seeming to do really well. And even for the fact that I couldn't get to watering my own garden as often as possible, you guys can still see that even with a slight negligence, the corn still performed well. The tomatoes have still been performing well. The radishes have been performing well. I should have showed some of the radishes that I pulled up, but all of it was really from my neighbor anyway. So he got the majority of it. I think I got 3 out of it. And I pulled up at least 30 or 40 yesterday. So that's what it is. Even with a little bit of not keeping up with it, you can still get some good results. Now, I'm not going to claim everything was due to electroculture. It could have played a part. It could have not played a part. But I know you have to keep down the basics first. What are you going to do regardless of electroculture? You're going to water. You're going to fertilize. You're going to make sure that there's no weeds trying to outcompete the plants that you're growing next to it. These things are necessary. So adding in the stake is just going to only enhance, one, just the nutrients in the soil, getting it easily absorbed into the roots. That just helps it a little bit. So there you have it, guys. That is my conclusion. 7th week. I'm going to do one more week of this, and then I'm probably going to move on. I'm going to be getting a new camera here shortly, so I'm just going to be doing different content anyway. I'm going to introduce myself, who I am, what my channel is all about, and all that jazz. So I'll see you guys on the next one.